Hey everybody, it's Amanda.
And Rick.
And we're live on the Bealles. Hey everybody. We're going to talk about thrifting today. I hope you're excited about it.
We are.
Rick's excited about it.
She said we were going live. And usually she tells me a time or two before she actually hits the button. No, not a whole lot of notice tonight.
I'm not going to go there. I'm not.
Oh, you think you gave me enough notice?
I'm not going to go there, you guys. He knows. I said 8 o'clock. It's 8:05. I've been waiting on him. Hello, everybody joining the chat. I'm sharing the link real fast, letting folks know we're here. Come join us and let's talk about thrifting. We went thrifting today too. I'm not. Whoa, it auto corrected the wrong word. Let me fix that.
You have to be careful with that.
Yeah, for real.
Hope everyone's doing great tonight.
Yeah, there we go.
It doesn't feel like we've been live on this thing since last week. It's a joke.
Yeah.
It's been a week. What do you think of that?
It gets better. That's what I'm gonna say to you. All right. I've shared the link. There's a lot less to do on this channel. Hair's a little crazy. So Rick's day off is Wednesday. It's one of his days off during the week. Has it rained at our place? I don't think so.
It's rained off and on the last couple of days. I don't think it did not rain today.
No. So his day off is Wednesday. Well, he has 2 days off. Usually Wednesday is one of them. The other one, we usually try to stay around the house. We usually try to take one day where we just stay home. And then the other day is the day that we like go out and do all the errands and the fun stuff and, do our thing. But like this week, we actually went thrifting on both of his days off. I don't know why. We've been like in a thrifting mood lately.
Those empty nesters.
Yeah, we just go thrifting.
Wild and crazy.
Yeah.
Kids leave, mom and dad go nuts. Thrifting.
I don't know what it is. You know what? I tell you what I think it is. Right? So the thing about it, I'm so sorry. The thing about it is when we are, all right, so let me put it this way. You all know that we are trying to save money. We have some financial goals, right? And
in other words, we're getting tight.
Yeah. So we've tightened up the budget.
Getting tight. You can say it a number of different ways. But.
And once you tighten up the budget, then it's like, oh, well, we're not even going to go to the stores where things are expensive. Like, we're not even dealing with that. We are just going to go to the ones that are cheap. And so then it's like, well, let's go to the thrift store because you look around there and you might find something that you like, but you probably aren't going to spend more than a few dollars. You know what I mean? So that's kind of, that we've gotten back in that headspace where it's like, let's be cheap. What can we do that's cheap? Like, we'll go out to eat, but we'll use a coupon. You know what I mean? So
I tell you, it's fun.
What, trying to be cheap?
Yeah, you got to make a game out of it.
It is.
And then celebrate each time as like a little victory. Mm-hmm. Talking about thrift stores, I'm just going to throw 2 cents in whenever I think about it. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows that things in price are going up. Everything's getting more expensive. So if you look around a thrift store, sometimes you will notice that where a couple years ago, items seemed really thrifty. Now things almost sometimes seem like they do in a regular store.
Yes, they do.
So you have to be watchful, mindful, and just know what things cost, because sometimes you'll be at a thrift store thinking that perhaps you're getting a deal when it really you're not getting so much deal. Nowadays you just have to be kind of cautious and careful.
You know what? It also really depends on your stores, right? Because your big name stores, your Goodwill, they're going to be pricey. I mean, let's just be honest, because they're doing like the prices for their national brand. They try to keep it fairly consistent, right? Hey, Brandy. He had burritos, by the way. She had texted. I told her that you had her meat, and she was like, "What'd you have?" But we were live, so I couldn't reply. Anyway,
and they were good.
So Goodwill's going to have a more expensive price, but like you can go to other thrift stores, maybe like a local one or different, places, and they might not cost as much.
Yeah.
So it just depends on your store. We went to a thrift store this week. It was a Salvation Army thrift store. So again, another big name in thrift stores, right? But they had stuff that was super cheap. Like we got stuff for like 10 cents. And they had a headboard, a twin size headboard. I'm like kicking myself that I didn't buy it for resale, but they had it for 99 cents. A twin size head, and it was cute.
She has bought so many headboards over the years.
I have.
And
not for 99 cents.
I know, but that's just one of the things that kind of irks me a little bit when you start looking for the head, because the headboards are big, and especially if you're going to resell them.
Yeah.
If you ever get into the buying and reselling thing, if you ever do that, make sure you have some space in your house, a basement, an attic.
We got space.
A room. Yeah, we have rooms now that no one's living in. That's true. But there was a time we did not.
No, we did not.
People lived in those rooms. So she would thrift store things, buy things, and we had little random piles of stuff throughout the house.
Yes.
And some we were keeping, some we were donating, some we were selling, and I just had no idea what was what. So you just have to be organized. I mean, if you're just doing it for fun once in a while, then no problem. But some people get serious. I mean, some people treat going to thrift stores like going to the dog races. You know what I mean? I don't know what I'm saying. You know what I mean? They get serious about the thing. We've been to thrift stores with people. You remember we were at a thrift store 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was a Goodwill, and my wife was looking at the furniture, and she was just looking at a few items, and then there was a lady there that was buying stuff, perhaps to resell.
She was buying a bunch of it, so it had to have been for resale.
And she flat out interrupted my wife, and what she said, that's sold, that's mine, that's
she
mine.
Literally did. She like walked right in front of me. She's like, okay, so this is mine and that's mine. That's okay. And I'm like, okay.
Very, very aggressive. So
Okay,
the aggressive ones are out there. I'm telling you, those are the dog racing crowd. So
I don't know what he has to do with dog races, but anyway.
That's just how I picture the crowd at a dog race.
Anyway, so
I don't know.
So it does matter what store you go to in terms of the cost, and you got to keep an eye on it. We were even talking like it matters that the store that you go to, that it's like the right store, because the price might be good, but it might not necessarily be a good store. Because we went to another store this week. We actually met up with Trey and Brianna at this store. And we used to go to it when other people ran it. And when this other lady ran it, it was a super nice thrift store. Like she had everything nice, everything was clean. I don't know where they got their inventory from, but it was just she had a nice store. We hadn't been back there since they've been under new ownership, so we went back to it this week, and it's not the same. It's not the same, and it's a different experience, because the thing is that we live in a small town. In the new ownership, we know.
Someone may say small town rather friendly.
Anyway.
Never mind.
The thing is that we know that the people who run this thrift store, they get their inventory from storage units, which I'm not necessarily offended by.
Maybe you got to get it from somewhere.
But I don't know which storage units they're buying from. Like, it doesn't seem like they're very particular about what they're getting. You know what I mean? The inventory there. So like I have bought from thrift stores for years. I'm comfortable buying from thrift stores. I understand that I'm buying used clothing. I also understand when I go into a thrift store, if there's clothing in there, that they have not washed it. Okay. This is something you need to be aware of.
I won't be honest with you. That is something that hit my mind just this week.
Really?
Yeah. We weren't even discussing this. We were at the one on when was that, Monday? And it just crossed my mind as we were walking through. I was looking at the racks thinking, I wonder how long it's been since
it was washed.
So some it kind of shocked, it hits your mind at first. I wasn't ready for it, but you just roll with it. You know what you're getting when you go.
The thing is, most thrift stores that take clothing for donation, the people that are donating them usually have a heart to donate clean. You're not going to donate something that's gross and nasty. The majority of people.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of people. Now, I know because Brian worked for a nonprofit organization, and that nonprofit organization had a thrift store associated with it. And Brian would sometimes help out when they were taking donations and stuff. In fact, I think he worked in the warehouse for a little while, because he worked doing just about everything there. But anyway, sometimes people donate stuff that's literal bags of trash, and they expect the people who work there to dig through the bags of trash to find anything, and they feel like they're doing something good, and that's just sad. It's just sad because these are nonprofit organizations that usually have these thrift stores. They're trying to use this to help people in their community.
Yeah.
And
all that just to say this, that if donating things, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And we've donated stuff before.
Yeah.
Just when you donate something, think for a minute. You may not want it, but ask yourself, would somebody else want this?
Yeah.
Donate good stuff.
Clean stuff.
Yeah, clean stuff. Things that
goes beyond.
That's in good shape.
Yeah.
If it's trash, get rid of it, discard it. But don't donate good stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's just good thinking, good smarts, and just being courteous, really.
I did a blog post one time called 25 Things Not to Donate. And I'm going to link it somewhere, and so you guys can see it. Maybe I'll put it on my Facebook page, and you guys can take a look at it and see all the things I said not to donate. But it surprises me that people would donate it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I just.
I'm sure every thrift store has a story.
I'm sure.
I'm like, you remember that time?
I'm sure they do. But anyway, most of your major thrift stores, like your Goodwill, your Salvation, the stuff that's in there, people have donated it.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually clean, and it's not. But you have to realize that Goodwill is not. They don't have wash machines in the back. They're not washing the laundry.
We were at a store one time, and I saw a Putin shirt. Oh, Putin. Like, who donated Putin?
Anyway,
that's a little Russian thing.
Okay, so
oh my.
What I was saying was, you have to know that it's not been washed. But this one store we went to, the building. Oh, I was still talking about the storage unit one. So the storage unit one we went to, they get their stuff from storage units.
Mm-hmm.
It was like everything. It was like moldy. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could tell.
Oh, people know that, I'm sure.
And it was like everything. And I love thrift stores. I've bought used clothing all kinds of places. I didn't even want to touch any of the clothes in that thrift store. Like, it just was not a good situation. It was not good. Angie, I buy shoes all the time.
She bought boots today.
Yeah. And speaking of undergarments, just on the undergarments note, I had a yard sale one time, and I had the boys were little, like little boys, and I had bought underwear for the boys, and I had taken it out of the package, so I couldn't return it to the store, but it was the wrong size. And so I was almost hesitating when I had the yard sale to take the little boys' underwear to the yard sale, because I thought, I don't know if anybody's going to want this because it's out of the package. It was brand new, but it was out of the package. And I thought, well, I'll just bring it. Maybe somebody could use it. I'll give it to whatever. So one lady came. She was so excited when she saw it. And she was like, my kids need underwear and I just can't afford it. And I was like, oh, girl, take the underwear. but it was just like something like that. You just gotta be wise. You know what I mean? You just gotta be wise. But I'm just throwing it out there. It's a possibility. I am open to almost anything, if it is like brand new. Mm-hmm. If it's brand new, I'm probably gonna be all right with it. Like, so shoes. you know, I bought a. I'm gonna do a thrift store haul, you guys.
You had one item.
Well, today.
Oh, okay, I got you. You're gonna.
But we went the other day.
Okay, I get you.
Yep. We've gotten some things, and I'm gonna do a haul where I show you all the stuff that we got.
Yeah, she likes in the fall and all. She likes to wear boots.
No, you can't tell.
What? I just said it a second ago.
You didn't tell. You can't tell what I got. Now it's out of the bag.
Well,
I got some boots.
You'll have to watch the haul to see what she bought. It may or may not have been boots. Okay.
But said boots,
good deal.
I'm going to say, said boots were like brand new.
Oh, they are brand new. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell. I gave them the smell test.
Well, you smell them. You look at them.
I talked about that last week. Yeah, be careful.
Yeah.
Go in slowly.
Oh, goodness.
But they were brand new. You can flip them over and look. I mean, the bottom of the shoe was brand new.
It's unscuffed, completely new. So you just gotta be choosy with anything. You know what I'm saying?
May or may not have been boots.
But we went to another thrift store one time,
funny.
And the building looked like it had been in a fire. Not the stuff that was in the thrift store.
The ceiling.
Yes. It was like literally black and burned out.
You see, the thing is that I noticed it, but I didn't think fire. At first, I thought must have been like a nightclub or something. You know, everything's black and everything, and I thought that was the look they were going for. But you and the kids noticed it. The kids were little; they were with us and everything, and they noticed it. Sometimes things just go over my head, literally over my head.
Well, I didn't notice it at first either.
Over my head.
Hilarious.
And it totally burned. I mean, like the building should have probably been condemned. But they were doing their thrifting.
But then we started to feel like insulation was on everything. You know what I mean? Like the way the building was, everything felt icky. So we just left. We didn't get anything there.
So I think the moral of the story is there's nothing wrong with a thrift store.
You just got to know. You
just have be careful. Just if you're gonna buy something, I mean, you could really end up being a blessing to folks who are running a business, and that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. But make sure you're not bringing things home that could cause problems. Get something that's good, and there's good stuff out there. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't rule off all thrift stores.
Yeah,
but don't think they're all somewhere you should be. Mm-hmm. That kind of thing.
So, I guess tip number 1 is choose your store wisely.
Yeah. We were at one time, and it wasn't really a bad one. It wasn't a bad one, but the one that they were all in boxes. Remember, everything was in a box.
I don't.
Now it's a car dealership.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So they bought the building, they put a car dealership in. But when we went there, it was a thrift store, and it was a big room, but they didn't have racks and everything displayed. You had to just kind of hope, stick your hand.
They had some shelving.
A little bit, but most of it was in a box.
Uh-huh.
You just kind of open the box and hope nothing bites you. You know what I mean? You talk about raising it up a notch. Mm. Now you're not just scared of mold. Now you're hoping nothing bites you, kind of thing. So you just
That thrift store though had a lot of gems, but not clothes. Like everything that we buy at thrift store isn't just clothes. We talk about clothes a lot because those are practical. But I mean, literally, the dress I am wearing, I got at a thrift store and I love it. It's my favorite. And it's my maternity dress, but I still wear it anyway. Because it's cute. But anyway, we don't just get clothes there. We get a lot of non-clothing. Mm-hmm. And in fact, I did get something else today. I didn't just get one thing at the thrift store. I got maybe boots, but then I also got something else.
Maybe boots.
That was maybe a Housewares item.
Maybe red boots.
Why'd you say red?
It was more of a burgundy.
You're giving away my secrets.
I can't remember what else you got.
I'm good.
Okay.
You tell.
I'll watch the video.
You ruined my haul.
I'll watch the video. Anywho.
Oh my. We went to a thrift store today, you guys. I don't even know if I should tell this story, but I'm going to.
Oh, don't tell that.
They had a sign.
Tell that one. This is a family show.
They had a sign. And it said no bodily fluids on your cash.
Yeah, on your money.
Yeah, we will not accept cash with bodily fluids on it or something like that.
Well, I actually took a picture of it.
And it said At the bottom, somebody had written on it in pen, spit or sweat. And I was like,
yeah,
what kind of stuff are they getting that they have to make a sign that says that?
I said a moment ago, every thrift store must have a story, and
you know what I'm saying?
They must have one.
No
body fluids on money.
No body fluids on money. Yeah, you could probably show that.
Spit or sweat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it's.
What in the world?
You can't see that.
Exactly. Oh yeah, there you go.
There it is. You play with it. There it is. That was at the register.
That is. Can y'all see it? No body fluids on money.
So you know what that tells me?
Register.
So you may think, well, automatically I think of people and things that happened before. But if you buy something there and you pay in cash and they give you change.
Yeah, paid with a bank card, I'm going to tell you that.
Exactly. Now I'm thinking like.
What's on their cash?
I don't know. Apparently they've had issues before.
It's like, who is spitting?
I'll be honest with you.
On their money.
Richard Bealle is not a rich man. And I have never said it because I'm not a rich man.
Uh-huh.
But that's one of the times in my entire life that I could see myself saying it. Like I was somebody. Keep the change. You know what I mean? Like I was somebody. You go ahead and keep that change.
That's for you.
You know? Oh, man.
You got to wonder. You got to wonder when that happens. Anyway. All right. So, you have a list of tips?
No, I was just writing some stuff.
Oh,
but you already said
Rick
things.
has a list.
No, I don't.
I can't wait to hear it.
I don't have a list.
Give me a list.
I don't have a list.
What are your tips?
I have stuff on a paper, but it's not a list.
Give it to me.
Well, we've already talked about it. It's random thoughts.
I want to hear them.
Well, what did we talk about? Okay. Okay. Well, I was thinking because people, I don't know if people go to thrift stores or not.
You guys all go to thrift stores, right? That's why you're here.
I'm gonna be honest with you. When I was a kid, my mom and my aunt,
mm-hmm.
they went to thrift stores.
Yes, they did.
And they would take me along.
Yes.
And I had fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point we stopped going.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what happened to me, but I got uppity.
Yes, you did.
I got very snooty.
You were very uppity when I met you.
I was very, yeah.
You were too good for a thrift store.
Well, I didn't feel like I was, but I just didn't.
But in your mind.
Yeah, it just didn't seem like something I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And when we were young, I mean, like 20s, early 20s and all, she wanted to go. She wanted to take the kids and all.
I want to go to yard sales.
And I was like.
He rejected it.
What?
He was like, you're going to put my babies in a yard sale things?
And I tell you, for some reason, you ever have things in your life that you just block out? For some reason, I had totally blocked out the fact that as a kid we went to thrift stores, and all of a sudden I'm like shocked by the whole thing. And then it's just like not knowing if the water's cold. You just kind of got to put your toe in it. So I thought, all right, I'll go with you. I'm not gonna buy anything. I'll stand there in judgment, but I'll go I'll go in the store.
Yeah.
And I went in, I just kind of stand there, kind of, grumpy. But after a while, give me a cup of coffee and I'm happy everywhere I go. And I started seeing that it's not a bad place. So little by little, I became a thrift store person. So I'm just saying that there may be somebody out there and you're like, thrift what? I don't know about a thrift store. And it may be a kind of an odd thing to you. Put your toe in the water. My tip, this is a tip.
Okay.
It's a tip that you may not have.
Probably not.
You probably disagree with it. I wouldn't go to a thrift store if you're really in need of something. Maybe, I see the disapproval. There may be a time you're looking for something. You're like, well, let's go see the thrift stores. But you say, I'm not like that. Because I'm just, for me, in my mind, in my thinking, that always sets me up for disappointment.
Yeah. It's hard to find the exact item if you're going
for there to be thrift store excellence. Thrift store excellence, in my thinking, you have to be totally content with where you are.
Yeah.
Totally content with what you have. And you go with absolutely no expectation of finding a gem, a treasure, or anything.
Yeah.
You're just like, we'll go see what they have.
Yes.
And if they have nothing, there's no pressure to buy. If you're one of these people and you feel like if you go to a place, you got to buy something. Well, you ought not to go to thrift stores because you'll end up buying a lot of junk. Mm-hmm. So you go in and you're like, I don't need anything. I don't even want anything. These people are going to have to show me something really good if I'm going to even think of buying something. Yes. So that's that whole thing. So you go in with no expectation, totally content, and perhaps in your contentment, you'll come across something that you didn't know you wanted or you didn't know you needed. And it's just like, look at that. And it may be a really good thing. That kind of thing.
So what I will say to that is I do think that is a good philosophy because like when the kids were little, we pretty much clothed the whole family with thrift store clothes for years and years. But I rarely went in needing shoes or pants or shirts or dresses or skirts or anything like that and like found what I needed that day. I usually had to do was buy ahead. You know what I mean? I usually had to buy, out of season. Like if it was summer, I was buying for winter. Mm-hmm. And if everybody wore a size 5, then I was buying a size 7 because I was trying to find things, if I found something in a 7 or a 9 or a 14 and I thought it was good, I'd buy it and I'd keep it. And I had boxes where I put, the clothes that they were going to need in the upcoming years. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Rick and I. Like we pretty much stay the same size, but in terms of the seasons, I would buy, winter clothes when it was summer. So you're not buying for what you need right this moment, usually. Mm-hmm. And that way you can find the best deals. Because if you find something that's really, really good, really cheap, you can do that. But like you guys are talking, I see some of you in the chat talking about vintage furniture, coffee table, lamps. If I needed a lamp, I would probably go to a thrift store first. Mm-hmm. Because every thrift store has some lamps. Might not be your preference. Mm-hmm. Might not be the style you're looking for. Like you said, if you're looking for a particular style, you're probably not going to find it at a thrift store.
And if you see a good lamp that maybe has a dirty shade, you can get another shade somewhere else.
Exactly.
But the lamp, you just clean up and you're good to go.
Yeah. So in terms of finding something that you need in the moment, like it's hard to do. But if, like, for instance, another thing, I've been looking at decor pieces. I don't need them, but I have some things that I'm looking to fill a certain size on a certain wall or whatever. And I just kind of have it in mind. So if I see something that I think will work, then I'll pick it up, but it's not anything that I need in this moment. However, sometimes if I'm like on a budget, on a really, really tight budget, and I need something in that moment, I will go to a thrift store and see what I can find that works. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I remember one year the kids were going to camp. And the boys were going to camp. Brianna was still too little. And they needed pajamas. And I did not have money to buy them pajamas. So I went to a thrift store and I bought a couple. I actually bought a king-size duvet.
What is that? What is that?
All right. So, a comforter. Mm-hmm. A duvet actually is kind of like a cover that goes over a comforter. Mm-hmm. Because if you have like a down comforter, it's white. So you want to put a cover over it in a color so it protects, almost like a pillowcase.
I got you.
For a comforter. So anyway, it was a king size duvet, and I bought that for like $3 because it was like $6, but it was a half price sale, and it was like blue. I made from that king size duvet because I couldn't afford to go buy them several pairs of night pajamas. Mm-hmm. So they just had their little t-shirts, a bunch of their old t-shirts that they took with them. And I turned that king size duvet into pajama pants for them. I turned it into a pair of culottes for me. I even took the leftover pieces and made it into a doll dress for a doll that I made for Brianna. That's still one of her favorite dolls. It was Dolly's dress. So, I mean, if you can figure out how to make do, if you've gotten to that point, then you can go to a thrift store and figure something out. Because I actually went in there looking for pajama pants, didn't really find anything, but then I saw this duvet cover and I was like, I had my little Sound of Music moment. Maria at the curtains. I was like, ooh. And I was like, I can do something with this. And then my kids are prancing around camp in the duvet cover that I turned into pajama pants. But anyway, we do have free cycle here in the US. I haven't used it too often, but we do have it. It is available here. It's usually bigger in the cities. Anyway, so next tip. Don't go in wanting something.
Yeah, don't go in wanting something. I was just going to say that. Now, even though you don't go in there wanting something, there will be times that you buy something that you will regret.
Yes, but that's why thankfully it's cheap.
Or you'll buy it and you're like, why? It just popped in my head, but there was a time. Every once in a while, I get into this I'm going to work out phase.
Yes.
Every once in a while, I'll get this whole, you know what? I'm gonna bulk up. You know, I'm gonna get the whole, muscle look. And little things will inspire me. We were in a thrift store one time, and I discovered a weightlifting belt. One of those big, thick weightlifting belts that the big guys that do the bulk they wear.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Like leather.
Still have it.
Yeah, you do.
And it's just a reminder of my failures in life. And I mean, I look at it like, I don't know why I bought it. I don't know why I have it. Maybe one day I'll need it. I don't know. There was a time that I bought a very nice green turtleneck that disappeared.
It went back to the thrift store.
I don't even.
Someone else was blessed with it.
I don't listen, folks. I'll be honest with you.
It was like an extra large. You're a medium.
I'm a man's man, and I don't know how many men do the turtleneck thing anymore. But I went through a phase where all of a sudden, every once in a while, I get into a collecting phase. Yeah. And I went through a phase. I wore a turtleneck one time, and I, it kept me warm during the winter. I'd wear it like an under thing, and then a shirt over top of that, layer.
Yep.
But I discovered that the turtleneck really keeps your neck warm. Probably why they made the thing.
I love a turtleneck.
So anyway, I started collecting them. I had them in all colors. I had them in the white and the black and the red. I would wear the red one every Christmas time.
That's right.
I wouldn't wear it all the whole cold season, fall, winter. I would not wear it.
Hold on to it for Christmas.
After Christmas, I wouldn't wear it. I'd only wear it at Christmas, and I would wear it to work, and people knew it's Christmas time.
Yeah, he's festive today.
Yeah. Put on Bing. It's time. And anyway, so I had a little turtleneck collection. Well, I found a green one, and you were joyful to buy it. And then
it amused me till you started wearing it.
It had a weird green to it. Maybe
it was like a lime green.
Yeah. The kids were little then, and if anybody out there knows what the Ninja Turtles are, I put something like red on my head. I put like a red thing around my head, like they wear the red mask thing. Oh, okay. And then I pulled the turtleneck all the way up to here. So I like the turtle, and I came out kind of deal. Oh, you could have fun with them.
He's a fun.
They were enjoyable. But all of a sudden it disappeared one day.
It did.
My wife, in one of her hateful moments, decided to raid my dresser when there were plenty of other dressers in the house.
I raid them all.
She just takes what she wants, gets rid of it, and she didn't even tell me. I think I asked you about it one day. I said, "Whatever happened to that?" And I knew when she smiled and gave me the and I knew right where she donated. I looked every time we went there for it, but never did find it.
What's your next tip?
I will say this. I'm just telling stories.
Okay.
Every once in a while.
We're trying to give them tips though, so don't.
But this is all illustration.
Okay.
The fact that why you go is you go content, not really wanting anything, but eventually you may find that diamond in the rough, and it'll make the whole thing worth it.
Yes.
For example, I have plenty of cups. I've always had a coffee cup nearby, right? Ever since you met me. Didn't even think I wanted a different cup.
No.
Strolled into a thrift store one day.
Yeah.
Totally just not even thinking. And
who knew his life would change?
And right on the table facing the front door as we walked in, my cup.
Old Blue.
It was the first cup and saucer I ever really had.
Whole life changed.
And I've had it ever since. It's been, what is it, like 10 years?
And what did you pay, like 10 cents for it?
Yeah, I've had it for 10 years. It's pretty much the only cup I use when I'm at the house.
Yep.
I don't drink tea. I drink coffee. But you just can't get over that. You hear that?
All right, that's probably really loud in the mic.
I'm sorry. There's just something about it,
Angie said, at the risk of sounding like a dumpster diver, there was a nice light flannel blouse on top of a dumpster 23 years ago. I saved it and wore it to a few job interviews and still have it. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. No. Lisa said, I got my second favorite water bath canner at a thrift store. I've gotten my water bath canner at a thrift store. I got my first pressure canner at a thrift store.
All right. Tips. You have kids.
Yes.
Our kids are grown, but somebody out there may have small kids. Kids are small. You need to, a lot of things in the store are expensive now. You can buy things online, but do little kids really think that's fun? It's boring.
What's the tip, man?
Thrift stores. Thrift store. That's the tip.
That's the tip.
Have you not read the title of the video?
You have little kids, go.
Well, you remember when we used to get there was the one in Maryland. We're from Maryland originally, and the one that had the little bags for kids. They had the little bags.
Oh, like the toys?
Yeah, a bunch of little things in a bag, and they were like grab bags.
Savers.
They were like little grab bags. The kids were excited about that.
Yeah.
They knew ahead of time that it would probably be junk. And they made a game out of it.
Yeah.
Who would get the silliest stuff?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But they loved it.
They loved it.
They loved it. Okay. So if you have kids, between a cheap thrift store and the public library, you can have a whole afternoon.
It's true.
And pretty much spend nothing.
Yep.
So anyhow, and then like you mentioned last week.
Hold on, with the kids, I do want to say you're not talking about clothes there. You're talking about toys. And I do think however, we do have one rule in our house. One rule when it comes to kids' toys and thrift stores. No stuffed animals.
Good tip.
No stuffed animals.
I backed that rule for years.
Speaking of the bodily fluids.
Oh, be nice.
Stuffed animals have often slept with kids, and
they may have
too much risk there.
Yes.
We just don't go there with
during
stuffed
the potty
animals.
training years.
No, we don't go there with stuffed animals. Any toy that can be purchased must be able to be
washed,
bleached, and or boiled in order for it to come in. We like a clean house. And so anything that they get must be sanitizable. So definitely.
And you brought up last week about how selling stuff on like eBay and all, you taught kids how to sell and everything. So that's another thing.
Oh yeah, it's a great lesson for kids in terms of helping them understand the value of things.
But I'm thinking like you brought women and women clothes and everything, but for a guy. Sometimes it's
a manly tip. I like it.
Well, no, here's my thing though. I'm not saying that men don't go to thrift stores. I'm not saying that.
Of course not, because they do.
But I will say this, maybe it's the time of day that I go. But many times I will go.
You're the only man in the store.
And there will be a lot of women in there.
It's true.
And I've been in there about 5 minutes and I'm waiting on you. And I just happen to glance around and it hits me. What you just said, I'm the only fella. And it's a crowd of people, So a guy out there may think, well, is it really something that men do? Yeah, men can go to thrift stores.
Of course. A lot of resellers are men.
You can find about anything you need. You can find shirts, jeans. I bought jeans there. Yeah. And you're talking about buying new stuff and everything. Jeans are kind of expensive.
Jeans are very expensive.
And yeah, I know there are going to be jeans there that have been very worn down and everything. But if you take time and you actually look.
Well, this is the whole thing. Like you said, don't go when you need something. You go when you don't need something. And if you find something that's good, you get it. So you can be very choosy.
And you can find things there that are really almost new. I will say this, just a practical thing. Guys that have like jobs where you work kind of like hard labor and everything, you can get some pretty decent work clothes maybe at a thrift store. If summertime, everybody's sweating to death, feeling terrible, cutting grass, if you think, well, I don't want to wear these clothes, my good clothes cut in grass, we'll go to the thrift store and buy some grass cutting clothes for the summer. Or if you're going to paint your house, buy some painting clothes for the summer, that kind of thing. You can go to the thrift store and pretty much have a whole wardrobe of home improvement clothes.
I do want to say this though.
Go ahead.
Okay. This is a conversation I had with my mom. My mom isn't here yet, and I'm not saying this like to embarrass her at all. But my mom and I had this conversation one time. My mom would go to thrift store. My mom loves thrift stores too. And you can blame her because she's the one who took me. And she would often find a shirt that she liked and it was like, had a stain on it or had this. She's like, that'd just be like around the house shirt, And she would get stuff like, this is like a work shirt. And I was like, Mom, you wouldn't go to a regular store and buy something with a stain on it and say it's an around the house shirt. Okay. It's like everything that you buy should be something that you can have for actual daily use. Now, if you specifically know that you're going to be doing yard work in all of your clothing, like normally by the time you get to summer, you've gone all through the winter, and you have your stuff from last summer, and there's usually a couple things in there that maybe they're looking a little raggedy. Like you can put those aside and say, all right, this is going to be my grass cutting clothes this year, right? But if you get to the next year and all of your stuff is really great and you don't see anything you want to use, go to the thrift store 100%. If you know you're going to paint and everything in your closet you do not want to ruin, go to the thrift store 100%.
I just said
these are the only exceptions. What I don't want you to do is go to the thrift store and see something and think, that'll just be for around the house. Don't do that.
Oh, yeah.
Just to get nice things that you can have all the time.
Or I can use that for pajamas.
Yes. No, don't do that.
Then you'll end up with a closet or a dresser drawer filled with stuff that just sits.
Yes. You want to really try to get things that are good quality. That's what you want. You don't shortchange yourself.
Oh, I was just thinking of things that you can buy that maybe some people don't think of. Books, kind of thing.
Do you see all of this? Thrifted.
Yeah, we have many shelves down there with books.
This is Brian's.
That are all thrift store. For the most part.
They are like 90% thrift store. I can almost guarantee that.
And every thrift store pretty much has a book selection. So maybe
for sure.
Maybe you're not into the clothes thing, and that's fine. But I mean, maybe you like to read, and this whole electronic, ebook thing is not your thing. You like the pages, you like the binding and everything. Yeah, you can find all kinds of books at thrift stores. Well,
Irma says my Goodwill isn't cheap anymore. Now, we were just talking about that. Goodwill, sometimes the prices are similar to like a Walmart. But here's the deal with the prices. So we're talking about books right now. Most hardback books, you're not going to pay more than $2.50 for, even at a thrift store. That's way less than you would pay even on Amazon or if you went to a like Barnes and Noble or something like that. So no matter how expensive your Goodwill has gotten, it's not going to compare in terms of price for books. Now, clothing, you would go to a Goodwill and maybe your shirts are $5.99 or something. And yes, you could also get a shirt for $5.99 at Walmart. But the difference is at Goodwill, you can get a higher quality shirt, maybe a name brand or something for the $5.99, and you would pay $5.99 for something that's more standard at Walmart. So you just have to be wise. You know what I mean? You just have to be choosy about what you're getting. There are some basics that I just got a shirt from Walmart. I'm on the lookout for shirts. I need new shirts. And I've been looking at thrift stores, but I happen to be in Walmart and they have a bunch of clearance up. So I was looking and I found a plain gray t-shirt for $3 and that's cheaper than Goodwill. But that's because it's just a plain gray shirt. You know what I mean? But if I want something like prettier or more, stylish or something that's not just basic, then probably my best bet would be at a thrift store because that's where I can get more options. Does that make sense? So the price might be comparable, but it's the selection is what makes it better. Books. You were talking about books. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Books. I know there are people that watch us that also watch our Bible study. But I've often brought up on the Bible study that you can get all kinds of Bibles at thrift stores.
You can even get them for free at some.
Yeah, and you think, well, I've already got one. But there may come a day. I'll just put it out there. There may come a day in our nation where it may be harder to find Bibles. Certain people get in office. They may say, that's not something we want. And, I'm just saying it could happen. So when I see a Bible, it's in good shape, I buy it. Okay, and it's not that I'm just trying to hoard, but it's a good thing to give away. So if you should have one for you and several to give away, and that's the way I think. So you can always find good ones at thrift stores many times. I brought up nostalgic things. I got a record player.
You got it one year for the holidays.
Yes, and you can go to thrift stores still and find vinyl records. Sometimes if you go to some stores, they're bringing them back kind of new now because it's kind of like a everything comes back kind of deal. They'll go away again.
It's a popular thing, yeah.
But you can go to a thrift store and find some old ones. I was listening to Glenn Miller today.
Yes, he listens to Glenn Miller every day.
Big band, and I'll tell you something else. I thought to myself, it's almost July. Almost July. That means in 2 months, I'm gonna start playing Christmas music. You got 2 months.
I already know.
And I was thinking, and I've already got it on the vinyl, and it crackles. It cracks. In 2 months, you're gonna hear Bing singing "White Christmas" with the crack, 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 crackle, crackle.
From the vinyl.
From the vinyl. Oh man. Oh Perry.
Yeah.
Como. I tell you, that 'twas the night before Christmas poem with the crackle, crackle. I tell you, it gets you choked
Nostalgic.
up. Gets you choked up.
Yeah.
2 months, and you can buy all these kind of nostalgic things.
What's next on your list?
Oh, the list's pretty much been covered, but you rambled a lot at the beginning. You were hitting my list like a machine gun.
Oh. Well, I do want to talk about housewares. We didn't talk about that.
Okay, talk about that, and then I do have a closing thought, but go ahead.
Oh, well, housewares. I mean, we get a lot of housewares. We already talked about mugs.
Yeah.
I think hands down, if you need any plates, cups, bowls, any of those.
Oh yeah,
things,
if there's a new couple out there or somebody like there was a guy that I was talking to about a month or two ago. He almost got his own place, and he was going to go into a place that had no furniture, and he was a little upset. But he's a little stressed about it because he's a grown guy, but he doesn't have any furniture. He's living in a place that has its own furniture, and he was going to go to another place that was not furnished, and he would need his own everything: table, chairs, kitchen stuff, and he hadn't thought of a thrift store. So I was bringing it up to him, and it was like a light bulb went off. Like, oh, I hadn't thought of that kind of thing. So new couples or people that just maybe you moved, maybe you moved into a different county, a different state. And you couldn't bring a lot with you. You had to leave it behind. Or maybe, you just left mom's house kind of deal. Thrift store is a good, these aren't items that you need to have forever. You can get newer stuff later on down the road, but you need to have something now. There's nothing wrong with buying a pot or a pan at a thrift store.
Remember that I told you at the beginning that we went to a thrift store and they had a headboard for 99 cents? That same thrift store had a couch for 99 cents.
Couch.
It was raggedy looking. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. I tell you, when they look at it and they say, that's about 99 cents. That's when you need to ask yourself, is this something I need?
I didn't get close to it. I mean, I would be very choosy about any kind of soft furnishings. Anything that's got fabric that could have any kind of anything on it.
It was a full-length couch.
I would smell it. I mean, I would
on.
Be choosy even at the 99-cent price. But if you were desperate, for 99 cents, you could put a sheet over it, a comforter over. You know what I'm saying? Like as long as it was like bug-free, and if you were desperate. I'm just saying, I live in reality. And if you broke enough and you just got to furnish your apartment, it might work. I mean, I'm thinking about the guys when they were like in college with their roommates. That just seemed like the kind of thing they would do. Like a couch for 99 cents. You know what I mean? All they're doing is playing video games on it and eating food on it. I mean, they're going to get it gross anyway. So, I mean, it's out there. It's a possibility.
I think I'm gonna pass on that one.
I'm just throwing it out there. Possibility. But what I do think is a good deal. What I was saying was plates, cups, bowls, even silverware.
Things you can wash.
Those are easily sanitized.
Or wash.
Easily sanitized. You can easily do something with that. And they are always available and always inexpensive. I've never yet been to a thrift store where those things, if you need a coffee mug of any kind, I would never go to a regular store because they are always cheap at a thrift store. Like, and they always have a variety. So like any of those things, decor items, I mean, there's always a wide variety of decor items. Like we were talking about lamps earlier. Furniture, I do think though, I'll give you a little excerpt from my book. Y'all know I'm writing a book about saving money. It's coming, y'all. It's coming. Anyway, one thing I talk about in the book is the idea of something's potential for making money. I word it a little bit different, but that's kind of what I'm saying here. The potential that it has to make more money. A lot of times if you buy furniture from a regular furniture store, I can't even think of what a furniture store would be called. Like
furniture place. like a real place?
No, yeah. Like where did we buy our furniture from? It's been so long since
I can't even think of a furniture. Does IKEA count? IKEA room store?
IKEA, yeah. It's all those. If you went to IKEA,
Value something.
Yeah,
City.
Value City.
Yeah.
If you went to IKEA and you bought something, chances are that if you were tired of using it and you went to resell it, you would sell it for less than you bought it for, right? So if you bought it for 100, you might resell it for 50, right? The thing with thrift store items is a lot of times if you buy it for $25, $30, if you fix it up and treat it nice, then you can often resell it for more. You know, if you buy a nice dresser and you go, wash it down, maybe paint it, you can do something with it, you could sell it for like $100. And so then it becomes a potential to make money. You know what I mean? Versus a potential loss. And I think that when it comes to your money, you should look at spending it as often as possible as an investment. Do you know what I mean? Anything that you buy should be something that in the long term you can make money off of if you can.
And people get that when it comes to like property, houses, things like that, maybe even vehicles.
But furniture
is something too. And I think like good furniture, not necessarily these like Walmart specials and things, but like furniture in a furniture store that sometimes you'll find in a thrift store that's really good, strong wood, like a dresser, or something like that. Things like that. They hold up for years and years and years. Maybe they just need a little cleaning, a little stain, a little something or other. But a lot of that stuff's in good shape. For example, all right, here it is. That story comes. We were dresser hunting months ago. Months ago. And I was not into the thrift store dresser. I didn't really want to buy a dresser at a thrift store. Okay. Even though I thrift store, I didn't want to buy a dresser at a thrift store. But so we went to some of the newer stores and we were looking at new furniture. And we were in like a
Spartanburg.
Spartanburg. And there's a furniture store there. And it's supposed to be a quote furniture store.
Fancy furniture.
You walk in and may I help you? It's like almost like
and
a card.
It's like $1,000 plus for a bedroom set.
And we're walking around and we're thinking like, what do these folks have? Like we're going to be impressed. And a lot of the furniture was
it's like cardboard.
Yeah, it was
it was like cardboard with contact paper on it was what it reminded me of. It wasn't anything that was really solid wood. It wasn't anything that was good quality.
Yeah, I think in the 1950s and 30s, 40s and all, you could go and get people were craftsmen and they would make things out of good, strong wood and everything. But if you just go to a regular store now, unless it is a real furniture store, if you just go to lots of times, if you're not really diligent about seeing the quality. It's that fake wood, kind of almost like
it's like cardboard.
Yeah, and it's just covered with kind of a
like contact paper.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. It's
You're a good interpreter for me.
Hundreds of dollars for that. So so he broke down.
I think you actually pointed it out to me.
Yeah.
Because I was looking around, because they make it look fancy.
Yeah.
You can go in and it's new. And I'll tell you what, something can be paper thin and cheaply made and just getting ready to fall apart as soon as you get it home. Mm-hmm. But in the store, it's new. It hasn't really been touched, and it looks like $1 million.
That's all right. Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at it, and it fooled me. And I'm like, what do you think of this? What do you think? What do you think? And you went, nah. And you pointed out to me, and I'm like, you're right. It just didn't feel like wood. Mm-hmm. And you open up the drawers and everything, and they were like paper. So anyway, all that to say this, that drove us back to a thrift store.
Yes, I convinced him to go back to a thrift store. We found solid wood, beautiful dresser set for $125. And that was the tall dresser for him, the wide dresser for me, and then the side table for $125. And it's beautiful, and I love it. It really is. But the thing is that, I could resell it right now and make that $100 back. No problem. And so I want you to consider, when it comes to furniture or anything that you buy.
If you resell it, take my socks out. It's hard to find good socks.
I want you to consider, with anything that you buy, if you could resell it for the exact same price. The best way to be financially sound is to make sure that you're not buying anything that if you had to sell it, you have to sell it for less. Mm-hmm. Everything that you buy, you should be able to resell for at least what you got it for, right? We try to do that with cars too. Mm-hmm. We want to get something that's a good enough deal that, Lord forbid, we had to turn around and sell it again. We get all the money back. You have to, and that's why you would never buy a new car, because you can't do that. The second you buy it, you turn around and it's, gone. So it's a better deal to buy an antique car, because for the same reason as furniture,
we don't have an antique car.
No, but I'm just saying, in terms of
talk that we have.
I'm just saying that, there's the idea is the potential.
Oh, I know.
For earnings. And you want to think of the potential value as much as you think of what you're paying for it right now.
We are going to get an antique car one day.
One day.
It's going to be one of those Elvis deals.
I don't know about Elvis.
And you're going to be like my Peggy Sue or whatever. Huh? What do you think? I don't know if I'd drive a pink one, though. It may have to be like, I'm more of a dark color guy.
All right. Our hour is almost up. So do you have any last thoughts on tips for thrift stores?
No.
You just said you did.
No, I have. It's not really a thought for a thrift store, but it was a thought. Uh-huh. Because some of the folks have commented they're thrift store people. Uh-huh. Okay. And then the ones who are not understand that the people who are, they won't comment. So I feel like we got unity here. So anyway.
Get to your point, man.
I'm building it. That's what I do. So you got a day off.
Yeah.
It's summertime.
Yeah.
Now, let's say you're working and you don't have time to take a vacation. So you're just going to take a day trip. You're tired of your small town. You're tired of where you've been. You've seen every corner. You've eaten at every restaurant. You've been to the park 1,000 times. You've read every book in the public library. You just want to go see what the next town's like. But you don't know where to go. We live in North Carolina, and we haven't seen all the state. And sometimes when we go somewhere new, we always say to ourselves, this is new North Carolina. Never been here before. Mm-hmm. Here's my point. If you like thrift stores and you go to the same ones all the time, take a day trip, take a day off. And sometimes we'll do this. We will get on the phone and we will Google thrift stores, like Goodwills. We've talked about Goodwills, and we'll just say Goodwills of whatever. And we'll just pick a random place somewhere in the state. Mm-hmm. And then we'll do like a little Google search of how long it takes to get there. And perhaps we'll go on a little day trip and we will go there. You think you go all that way to a thrift store? No, we don't go all that way just for a thrift store, but it gives you a place to start. That whole thing. It's kind of a neat for a day trip or anything. It's kind of an explore. You start at perhaps the thrift store, but then you explore the town. You see what the town, because sometimes we just like to drive and look at, some of these back roads and everything. And it helps you to kind of venture out and see things that you haven't seen before. So my point is that you need a destination. You need something to punch in your GPS. So you go to a thrift store.
Too, if you're vacationing this summer, I will say that a lot of your vacation destinations, if you go to thrift stores there, you can find great, what are they called?
What?
Gifts that you get for your family.
Gifts.
Yeah. No, babe. If you're going on vacation.
Mementos.
Yeah, something like
souvenirs.
Souvenir. Thank you. That's the word.
Souvenirs.
You can find great souvenirs at thrift
when
stores.
I think of one.
I went to, years ago, we lived in Maryland. I went to Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Where the Amish are, and you do the whole Amishy thing and all that.
Did you?
Yes.
What's the Amishy thing?
Like, they have, it's the, you go around and you see the Amish and the farms and all the little things. You remember when I went there.
You do the tour.
Anyway, yeah. So I was with a group of ladies.
I know what you're talking about. It was I know what
our church at that time. Every year they had a men's camp out, and the men would go camping.
Men went camping, ladies went shopping.
Yeah, we had a ladies camp out, and we would camp out in Lancaster. We would go to outlet malls, and we would go, to all the different things. Anyway, but a lot of us went to thrift stores. There were groups of ladies that went to thrift stores. But the thing is that I found so much really great souvenir type items. Like somebody said, postcards. There were a lot of Amish things there, and I even found, and my favorite thing, and I wish I still had. I wish I'd have kept it. I had this dress that I got for Brianna. And it was a little Amish made dress, and I loved it so much. And I had it for years and years. I wish I still had. I don't know why I got rid of it. I'm so mad at myself for it. But it was so much better than going, and it was cheaper too, than going to all of those fancy stores. Rick and I went to Chicago a few years back, and when we went to Chicago, we went and got souvenirs for the family at their stores. And we intentionally got ridiculous things for our because our family, we do joke stuff. That's just what we do.
We've talked about having a small Christmas and everything on this channel, and sometimes we'll do like little gag gifts.
Yeah.
And the best way to find ridiculous things sometimes is to go to a thrift store.
So when we were in Chicago, I got Brianna this shirt, and it had like a warthog on it or something.
It was the high school mascot of that county.
And Brianna loved it. She wore that thing for years.
Yeah.
It was the most hideous shirt. She loved it. But it was just, and a lot of people I know, they go to like Disney. Now we didn't take our kids there, but rather than spend so much money on the souvenirs, if you go to thrift stores in the area, do you know how much Disney stuff they probably have there? And you'd pay a couple bucks for it versus, I'm sure, a tremendous amount at Disney. So definitely, if you're traveling, if you want souvenirs, go to the thrift store.
That's a little sneaky idea.
Yeah, that's what I do.
It was clever.
I try. Anyway, all right. Those are my thrifting like a pro tips. Those are areas that you want to avoid, how to find, the idea of finding a good thrift store. If you guys have any other tips, I hope you will continue to put them in the comments, in the chat. But thrifting can be a tremendous blessing, and to save you money, it'll save you time, because if you've already stocked up in advance, which is what we were talking about earlier, what we did with our kids, then, you're not constantly having, every year to go back to school shopping or stuff. You've got nice storage already prepared, and, you just need to get a few things here and there. But we love thrift stores, and they've been very valuable to us, and we think they'd be a blessing to you too. So anyway, that's it for this week. You have anything else you want to add?
I'm done.
All right. Well, come back here in the next few days. I think on Friday, I'm going to try to get my thrift haul up so you can see all the things that I've got this week in thrift stores. And
may or may not be.
There may be some red boots in that video.
I'm sorry.
Among other things. I definitely got some decor items. Definitely like kitchen stuff for sure. So not kitchen stuff that I purchased. I don't think I got any kitchen stuff this time, but I'm just saying, I was talking to responding to Angie, because she said pots and pans and kitchen stuff can be good for sure. I talked loosely about kitchen stuff, but all kitchen stuff is good. But anyway, that's that. If you guys have anything else that you would like to talk about, you just let us know and we'll talk about that here in the next few live events. So y'all have a good night. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye. Good night, folks.
Bye.